everyone had a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. We also broke out into a good, better, best chant at the dinner table. I feel like we can't be the only ones. It is a buzzing in Chicago right now. Welcome into Bears Blitz, brought to you by IGS Energy. Luke Canellis, Anthony Herron, and I'm Cassie Carlson. And the best Christmas gift was the Bears clinching their spot in the playoffs. And now with 2 more games left, the Lions are out. The Bears and Packers left to take the division, which the Bears can do this weekend with a win in Santa Clara or a Packers loss to the Ravens on Saturday.
Take it one game at a time, right? I mean, that's what this team has done.
Okay.
You're looking to the Super Bowl?
I mean, anything's possible.
They are on a magic carpet ride, right? I mean, it is truly a fairy tale season. We were watching the Open, and he and I are just laughing because, seriously, as someone who has followed this team, at least here at Fox, I have been doing Bears Game Day Live and Bears Game Night Live for 20 years. It's become laughable. Right. I have never, 2001, 2018, 2010, 2006, I've never seen anything like this.
It's unbelievable. It's remarkable. It's incredible. Any adjective that we could associate with this team from a positivity perspective, it really associates with how they are operating. It's so much fun. The joy that's around the city, the joy that's around the country related to the Chicago Bears. And, you know, if anything special happens at the end of the season, that'll be absolutely amazing. But if nothing else, enjoy this moment that we are in right now, because when we get to 2027 and beyond, the expectations will be different. The joy that we can take from it, there'll be some enhanced tension at that point. So make sure, as we do focus on the moment, if it is one game at a time, make sure we appreciate where we're at with this squad right now.
I'll tell you what, because we had the postgame show here on Fox 32 Chicago, so I was in studio, but I have had a number of friends that were at that game and told me about fans becoming emotional in the crowd. And all I could think of was 2016 when the Cubs won that World Series and people became emotional. And it's because Bears fans have been waiting 40 years, since '85, for something like this. And it's really tugging right now at the heartstrings.
I got so many texts from fans that said, why do I feel like I want to cry right now? And the adrenaline coming down from that game, it took almost days to get over. I woke up the next morning, I'm like, did that actually happen? And I had to rewatch the ending. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. I missed this. Because it wasn't just one play. It was a series of plays that made that game and that ending
And you're
so
trying
special.
to work in the middle of all this.
It was like as soon as DJ Moore caught that touchdown, we were like, all right, we grabbed our stuff. We're running downstairs because we want to try to get some of the celebration of them walking into the locker room. So the Bears and Ben Johnson, they wanted 11 wins. That was their first goal because they knew that would get them into the postseason. That proved to be right. Clinching the playoffs was another one of them. But they also had their sights set on even more this season.
Step 2 is we want to win this division. We want to have at least one home playoff game. And then step 3 would be clinching number 1 seeds. We continue pressing forward. Like I said, we're still not, necessarily playing at the level that we're capable of yet. And so, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about this season.
My goal isn't to just get to the playoffs. My goal is to win and win big. And so, I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to keep growing for the guys in this building, for the coaches and things like that, for this organization and for the city to be able to be proud and happy to be fans and supporters of Chicago Bears.
Well, I think the city is very proud and very happy with the way the Bears are playing this year, and they are going to Santa Clara. Primetime matchup against the 49ers, also an 11-4 team. They're riding a 5-game winning streak, and the location has been a topic of conversation because it's where the Super Bowl is this year. And Ben Johnson said the location isn't any motivation for them. They are just trying to go 1-0, which has been impressive week after week, that they've been able to channel that same approach and be so focused despite all of the other things going on and being in a position that these players haven't been in before.
Greatest example of that was when they played Cleveland with Green Bay 2 weeks away. And they remained focused on the Browns. And they not only beat Cleveland, they beat up the Browns in that football game before taking on Green Bay in that incredible game that we saw last Saturday. I think the coaching staff, Big A, has done a terrific job of keeping this team focused at the job at hand. And while you can dream about what it would be like to win a Super Bowl and be part of a Super Bowl winner in such a great sports city like Chicago, he and Dennis Allen and the rest of that coaching staff have done a terrific job of making sure these players know you need to take care of business this Sunday first before any of the other dreamlike factors become reality.
The cool thing about it is that the Bears are still a really enticing growth stock, if you look at it that way, because of the fact that there's still some areas that they can obviously improve at. The Packers did have a lead for much of that game with their backup quarterback and with some of the injured players that were out there, but we just saw the latest and greatest example of the Bears' ability to come back, to persevere, to thrive in critical moments. When the game is at cold crush depth, we see Caleb and the legend that continues to build there. All those factors are really cool because it does impact the way that we all feel about this team with so many special moments, but there is still areas to improve with the consistency of the way they operate.
Does the resiliency and the way they're able to stay in games and come back in the fourth quarter make them a dangerous team to see in the postseason, Lou?
I think 100% yes. If I'm on the other side, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I saw what happened against the Packers. They were down and out, and still every break went their way. And I'm a big believer in, yeah, you know what? You go through life and you get lucky, but you create your own breaks. You put yourself in position to earn that luck. And that's what this Bears team has done throughout the year, including what happened in that Packers game.
And I'm confident that Kyle Shanahan this week and every other coaching staff who will continue to evaluate it, the way the Bears' special teams has impacted wins this season, that's a big factor in the way that they're respected by folks around the National Football League as well. And yes, there are certain games where there have been some frustrations in special teams, but you can say the same thing about the Bears' offense and about the Bears' defense. The imperfections of special teams end up getting highlighted more because they're on the field for less snaps. But also, when they make plays like we saw the other day, Cairo Santos drilling field goal after field goal in remarkably difficult conditions to make sure the Bears are staying in that contest. And then, of course, the onside kick that had to be made with the way the wind is swirling. It looked like some sort of a claymation effect from back in the day with the goalposts just whipping back and forth. Cairo drilling them over and over again. And Lou, you mentioned the late game moments that had to go their way. Even the clock management to get to the point where they have an opportunity to attempt the onside kick, they respond in those moments. So special teams is a factor. When you're evaluating the other teams on film, it's one thing to say the offense is talented, the defense takes the rock away. But when you look at the way they play hard on special teams, that lets you know this team is fully invested.
And Cairo Santos won NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Is there any correlation between the relationship of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and the way they're playing and how that's grown over the year? Because Caleb Williams said he didn't feel like Ben Johnson liked him very much. and that relationship was a little fragile early on in the season, which we saw in training camp.
I'm not sure who Ben Johnson liked when he came here, other than his assistant coaches. Listen, he made it clear. What did he say up front? Be prepared to be comfortable, to be uncomfortable is what he said to his players. And that included Caleb Williams. And let's be honest about Caleb Williams. Everywhere Caleb Williams has gone throughout his football career, at Oklahoma, USC, and his first year here in Chicago, everyone kind of laid out the red carpet. Let's make sure that Caleb Williams is comfortable. Let's make sure he's not upset. We heard the comments of his father. Ben Johnson came here and said, listen, I'm not here to be your friend. I am here to be your head coach, to be your parent, so to speak, to make sure you become the best quarterback possible, and that's all that's important.
And Ben Johnson in that opening press conference, and you were there able to talk to him about it right away, Cass, as he laid it out, it's been exactly what he said we should expect, where this is a situation where he's here for Caleb to get the best out of Caleb, but it won't all be about Caleb. And the way that Ben Johnson is leading this entire team, this entire organization, it's showing up is the reason that they're in second place in the NFC.
All right, and Caleb Williams is going to get one of his targets back as Luther Burden will be back on Sunday. Roma Dunze is going to be out for that game on Sunday Night Football.
It's a huge honor. Obviously, it's my third one. I think I'm getting in every 4 years, so hopefully that buys me another 4 years in the league. But no, man, it's an honor and just to be recognized from my peers, coaches, and obviously, I mean, the fans. I mean, top 5 and overall votes was pretty crazy, and it was obviously incredible to see. But I'm honored for sure.
Yeah, Bears fans showed out, sending Kevin Byard, Drew Dahlman, and Joe Thuney to the Pro Bowl. And talk about Byard, who leads the league in interceptions, much deserving for this honor. But I think you guys look at who the Bears have going to the Pro Bowl, and Nashawn Wright, is he a Pro Bowl snub? Even Kevin Byard admitted that he had a conversation with him that he should have been there.
Well, Michael Parsons said, hey, listen, Nashawn Wright should be going to the Pro Bowl. And remember, Michael Parsons played with Nashawn Wright in Dallas. I don't know how a guy can lead the league in takeaways and not be invited to the game. And not only come up with takeaways, but come up with takeaways at opportune times in football games, like the pick 6 against Minnesota. I don't understand, other than the man came to Chicago as what? A free agent pickup working for the league minimum out there, and everyone thought he'd help out on special teams, and no one figured that Nahshon Wright would be in this position, and all he did was take advantage of the snaps he was given in training camp, in the preseason, then got the start, and has shown that he is an able tackler against the run as well. What more does the man need to do?
And some of this, I've participated in the voting process for the Pro Bowl. Some of it turns into a bit of a popularity contest with guys who come in with some name recognition, who've already had and earned that sort of recognition and respect around the league. This is really the splash season for Nahshon Wright. So if he were to do something similar to this again next year, I would imagine he'll end up making the Pro Bowl. I would add Jonah Jackson to the mix as well, though, where to me, he's perhaps even more of a snub because offensive linemen don't necessarily have true stats associated with it. You have some of these other evaluation services that'll look at knockdowns and, the protection percentage and things that are a little bit subjective in the evaluation. But you can make a case that Jonah Jackson has been the best right guard in football this season, and he was kind of a known commodity coming in. This is a rebound year for him, but I was surprised he didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Well, also important because he's playing for a contract, and you want that on your resume as you try to get that dollar amount going up.
Yeah, well, he's going to be 28 years old in September. You're talking about Nahshon Wright. Going to, hopefully get a nice big contract somewhere. He's going to make a lot of money. I want to throw the name out there, Drew Dahlman, and I know he's going, to the Pro Bowl. But think about what this Bears organization has gone through at the center position since Olin Kreutz. I was looking back. Coleman Shelton, Lucas Patrick, Sam Mustipher, Cody Whitehair.
All in the same season.
Yes. Finally, some stability at arguably, I get it that the left tackle protects the backside of your quarterback, but that center position really becomes the cornerstone of that offensive line. And I think the reason the Bears are 11-4 and in this position is because of that offensive line.
The way that Ben Johnson's offense has accentuated what they've done. They've invested up front and tried to get the best out of this offensive line, and it certainly shows up. Joe Thuney continued to perform at what may end up being a Hall of Fame trajectory for his career. Wow. I think this is the best version of Drew Dahlman that we've seen in his NFL career. That's one of the things that I find really impressive about the way this coaching staff has come in, addressed certain needs, and have players now who've been added to the mix that played quality football before, but on both sides of the ball, you're seeing that this staff has now enhanced even the production of certain players who were already playing well before they got here.
And Caleb Williams calls Drew Dahlman the Hulk. He says he's the brains of that offensive line. Let's talk about the defense. It's bend, don't break. That's kind of their motto of this season, and they were perfect in the red zone against the Packers. Now you look at the 49ers, who put up 48 points against the Colts, and they don't have so many weapons on the outside, but they do have George Kittle as a tight end who's going to be questionable in this game, and they have Christian McCaffrey. They use in both the run and pass on par or on pace to get 1,000 in both those categories.
What worries me is Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator, said that typically you do not see an offense go through the tight end or the running back. And in this case, it goes through George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. So are the Bears set up to stop an offense right now that's on a roll, averaging over 34 points a game, a team that has not lost since the beginning of November, and a quarterback, as you see right there, who's putting up numbers that number 16 wearing a Niners uniform used to put up, and his name, by the way, is Joe Montana. It worries me a little bit.
It's worthy of concern, there's no doubt. And I'm not sure if San Francisco actually fields a punter or not. I've been searching the statistics, trying to tell.
If they do, he better give his salary back because he's not working.
They haven't needed it very much here in recent weeks. And Brock Purdy is a quarterback who, yes, when he's on, he's extremely consistent and precise with the football. He's actually a really mobile quarterback as well, so he can threaten this Bears defense with his legs. But it all does go through George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey, one of the best all-purpose backs we've seen in NFL history, and covering the tailback out of the backfield. Even with the starters now healthy, Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, that has been a bit of an issue for the Bears linebacker position. And McCaffrey, whether you're talking Pro Bowlers at the second level for that opposing defense or guys making their first start, he gives everyone fits when they have to tackle him between the tackle box and also when he's a receiver in the open field.
Big Ed, I want to go back to you. What makes a defense so good in the red zone, and why are the Bears locking down on that aspect, although they haven't been as good in it on the road this season?
Well, for the way the Bears operate, because they'll throw a variety of looks at you from a coverage perspective especially, but when they bring pressure, they can do man blitzes and zone concepts from a blitz perspective. And when you get in the red zone, when you can lock down, and especially when this secondary is at its healthiest, the length plays into it a lot. Nashawn Wright, who we were talking about earlier in the show, a really long corner. Tremaine Edmonds, a really long linebacker. And you know Kevin Byard is an excellent center fielder. And so as long as you do have that ability to condense the throwing windows, you can kind of bear down and hit some blocks in the run game, where the Bears out between the 20s haven't been as good as a run defense. But you get into the red zone, they're more effective there, and the length they have at certain positions really shows up a lot.
Do you think the Bears defense can get some pressure on Brock Purdy in this game?
Well, we saw Montez Sweat having a much better game at getting to the quarterback against Green Bay. Austin Booker played with his hair on fire, a couple of, 15-yard personal foul penalties in that game, which you'd rather not see. The one call arguably shouldn't have gone against him. But I feel good about the Bears' pressure when it comes to pressuring Brock Purdy. My worry is, and I know you brought up the run game, Big A, they gave up a lot of yards between the 20s, but something about Christian McCaffrey, who's over 1,000 yards already, and the Bears gave up $192 yards on the ground to the Packers last week, and that was with a beat-up Josh Jacobs. So I worry a little bit that San Francisco's run game may create fits on Sunday night.
With good reason. The way that they operate with Kyle Shanahan calling the plays on offense and some of the eye candy that they work in a lot of fashions similar to how the Bears operate, where they'll put defenders in conflict at the second and third level, and they do have within the run game playmakers. Again, using the legs of the quarterback, Brock Purdy, is a part of that as well.
All right, the 49ers also have a Pro Bowler in Kyle Juszczyk, a fullback, one of the best in the league, and Big Ant's going to break down his key matchup when we come back. Welcome back to Bears Blitz. Time for our key matchup presented by Blue Moon. The hope going into this game is the Bears have their starting linebacker core back together for a second straight game, but TJ Edwards popped up with a glute injury this week, midweek, putting his status in question. And Kyle Shanahan runs one of the best offenses in the league with a weapon and fullback Kyle Juszczyk, who's used like a tight end and receiver as well.
All right, Big A, up to this point, we've talked about their fullback, we've talked about their tight end, we've talked about Christian McCaffrey. The Niners are known for Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Deebo Samuel. Do we worry at all about their wide receiver core in this game?
Yes, but it's because of the opportunities that will set up likely one-on-one matchups because of George Kittle, because of Christian McCaffrey. I do think Dennis Allen will likely work in a number of zone concepts just to make sure that the eye discipline of the defense isn't accentuated too much and they don't feel like they have to overflow when some of that eye candy, when some of the things that Kyle Shanahan does in his offense can test you and try to put you in conflict. So the receivers, they'll be on the outside, I believe, some one-on-one matchups, but then up the rails at the safety and linebacker position, they're going to have that ability to just operate with their eyes sort of scanning the field.
Welcome back. It's time for your player to watch, brought to you by IGS Energy. As we just mentioned, the 49ers have a top 5 passing game, and Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, those are the main threats, but I think there could be some weapons on the outside too that the Bears could get caught up in. That's why I'm looking at Nashawn Wright because he feels like he was snubbed from the Pro Bowl and those takeaways. He leads the league and he has them at the most opportune times, and the Bears defense is going to need this as they try to put a stop to that 49ers offense. All right, that's it for Bears Blitz. We hope you have a great weekend, and make sure to tune in Sunday morning for Bears Game Day Live from 9:30 to 11 right here on Fox.